Hello, welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. It's release week. Corsairs of Umbar is out, and we're going to get to the gaming here real quick and just enjoy Corsairs of Umbar for today's live stream. So, welcome. Thank you for being here, everyone. Hope you're having a good one. We will talk a little bit about what's in store, some of the work we're doing this week and weekend. We have a patch set for next week to fix a few of the bugs we'll undoubtedly talk about here in just a little bit. And, that's really about all I have for today's show. Just some fun Corsairs of Umbar gameplay and a little bit of news. So it's been a busy week, has it not? So let's sit back on this Friday and enjoy what we released this week here a little bit. So that's what we got going on. Before I get to that, I did want to thank everyone for all your donations this Extra Life. Last Friday was our Extra Life live stream, and it went really well. We have crossed our goal, and I'm in the process of turning around and starting to distribute some incentives and things like that. So I got started on that this week. I did get some things done this week, but there's a lot yet to do. So I'm going to say it's going to probably take up to a month before I've given everyone a run through on getting your codes and things like that. But I am working on it, and things are turning around pretty quickly thanks to excellent survey information that you gave me. There's only, I've gone through, so I guess I got back to about 45, 50 people so far, and there was only one person that I was like, oh, okay, huh. And so I'll figure that out. I was able to figure out how to reach out to them, so I'll get the information that I need from them. But I didn't have the information, but that was it. That's all that it's been so far. It's been smooth sailing. Really nice this year. So that's what we got. That's what I've been up to this week, other than releasing Corsairs of Umbar. Now, who am I talking to, right? You know that it got released. You've probably been to the website. If you haven't been to the website, go to Lotra.com, click on a Corsairs of Umbar thing, and learn more about the expansion. We're going to places we have not been before, and this is going to be very exciting. I'm running through Chapter 2. I'm just starting Chapter 2 of the Song of Waves and Wind. That's the new storyline here in Corsairs of Umbar. You'll acquire it. We can talk a little bit more about that in more detail later if the chat wants to, but you'll acquire it by going to Midsummer Minas Tirith and speak to Glindor. If you haven't run Chapter 1 yet, you'll be able to pick up Chapter 1 and run it prior to running Chapter 2 by speaking to Glindor. But either way, you'll go to Midsummer Minas Tirith to get that started. There are other ways that you can acquire those quests, like especially Chapter 2 picks up right where Chapter 1 left off. So if you are, say, just going from Chapter 1 into Chapter 2, it's a very smooth transition. But we're not assuming that everyone is starting exactly where they left off for A Song of Waves and Winds. So instead, all that's being vectored through Glindor and Midsummer Minas Tirith. And very quickly, you will find yourself speaking with King Elisar. And we're going to do that right now. If you'll remember, at the end of Song of Waves and Wind, we were introduced in violent fashion to the Kindred of the Coin. And some of their plans for Middle-earth that we will see play out here soon. King Elisar, Aragorn, for those who don't know, is really on a tour of the kingdom. And that's about all you need to know. Following the end of the War of the Ring, he's going across the kingdom, doing a tour, helping out, learning about the peoples, and encountering now this. All right. So we're going to a house nearby. So the intention is for that vector of Glyndor and Midsummer Minas Tirith, I believe that's the intention, is to have that be a pretty long-term vector for the Song of Waves and Wind, and so that it'll be nice and easy for people to... Actually, wait a second. Yeah, okay, wait a second. I think I'm going the wrong way here. No? Let me get rid of this just to remove that from my tracker. Okay. Yeah, I know where this is. I think I know where this is. So I want to go back and around. Okay. It's a convenience thing as much as anything, really. But it is a convenience thing that we're doing. Yeah, good. Yes, it's true. I will need to get a map placement on there. So let me talk a little bit while we're kind of in the entrance here. Let me take a brief moment and talk just a little bit about... Let me get into the light, if I can. Nope. There we go. That'll work. Let me talk a little bit about the bugs that happened this week and some of the things that we're working on. So, for next week, roughly probably something like next Wednesday, we're going to have a game update to fix a few of the bugs that have come out since release. Namely, there's an issue right now with the Adventurers Steelbound loot boxes, where if they're opened at level 141 or higher, they're not giving the proper level 141 Seafaring Adventurer's Humble Essence box, but are instead giving a level 140 Delving Adventurer's Lively Essence box. So, if you're interested in getting the 141 essences, you should wait to open the loot boxes until after next Wednesday. And the reason for that is the level of the Seafaring Adventurer's Humble Essence box is determined when you open the loot box, not when you open the essence box. So, wait to open your loot boxes till next week on that one. We're going to be making that possible. We'll get the proper Seafaring Adventurer's Humble Essence box next week. Also, we had to disable the Flame of Encalamir. There was a conversion bug that was problematic to the economy of the Essence game system, so we had to temporarily disable the ability to use the Flame of Encalamir, which is a right pain. And so we're going to be fixing that for next week as well. And there's one more, and this just happened this morning. It was done in the game world about 10 minutes before I went live, so I haven't been able to get out social media alert on this yet, but I will as soon as the stream is done. Tell your friends that we had to temporarily shut down one of the Corsairs of Umbar quests. There's an interlude at the end of the Song of Waves and Wind. This is in Chapter 7. There's an interlude at the end that is temporarily unavailable due to a bug. The interlude will return in the next game update, which will be next week. I'm deliberately not saying the name of the interlude because it's a spoiler, and I've been asked not to. It's also a little bit of a surprise, and so we're kind of... You'll encounter it, but you'll encounter it next week when the quest is reopened. But that's at the interlude at the end of Chapter 7 of the Song of Waves and Wind. Alright, and before I get to more as well, let me go through chat. See what we got going on. I don't have an ETA that I can provide with you today about when on instances. I apologize. It'll be in the coming months. We'll have more information about the timetable for, say, the missions as well in the near future, but we're still working on some of that, and I'm not in a position to give you a release cadence at this time. I can tell you that we're working to get the missions in, I believe, in roughly around December, and then the instances will be after that. And we'll have more information about the release schedule here real soon, but I can't do it today because I just am not in a position to give you that information. I apologize. So Broken Shield has a question. I can't answer the question as I don't know it, about whether yellow player made gear take 5 Rest Sea Stone to make. I don't know. But I can tell you that I saw there is another crafting bug as well that'll be in the chat. Let me go find that post from Orion. There is an issue with crafting. So as part of the release of Corsairs of Umbar, there are some errant costs on the new crafting tier that are at their previously proposed levels. They went out on Bullroar this way, we went and fixed it, and then we released it and it's reverted back. So in the upcoming patch, we're adjusting the components necessary to craft the uncommon and rare gear for all output professions. This means, and this results in a reduction in refined materials needed for most output craft recipes. All uncommon gear recipes as part of the Umbar crafting tier will no longer require the new Red Sea Stone to craft the output items. All rare gear recipes will require 1 or 2 of the new Red Sea Stones to craft the output items. Orion is advising not to craft output recipes for any profession other than farmer until we implement this fix, and we're going to be fixing that real soon as well. So I think that's what you're talking about. If you said red instead of res. And the answer is no. No, Herder, I'm going to say, to answer your question, are delvings obsolete? The answer is no. They are not. I can't quite answer your specific question about level 150 armors to barter, but that is something I can bring up to the systems team and see if there's a bug on that, if it's just coming here when we do the missions in, roughly December or what. So we'll have more information about that, hopefully in a future patch. My guess would be that because we haven't done the mission work yet, that's going to come with the mission work. But I would have to get back to you to know if that's actually the case or not. Can you ask me a question about plans for early game? Sure. In light of the Flame of Ankalamir bug, will the end date of the legendary item Reward Track 7 be pushed back at all? At this time, the answer is no. At this time, the answer is no. If that changes, I will let you know. We'll make sure we announce it. But at this time, the answer is no. There's been discussions, but at this time, the answer is no. I would have to get back to you on the soundtrack volume, Janyan. Could be that there is a bug somewhere where it is overlapping or perhaps playing twice and thus too loud. Refunds for already crafted stuff, sorry. That's not something we're going to be able to do. Is there any thought to conversion of old shards, Kudzul tablets, etc. into ancient script? I have not heard of plans for that. If I do, I'll let you know. When will we get the 4th crafting profession? I don't have the timeline on that one either. It's being worked on, and once it's in a position to get onto, say, a Bull Roar preview, that's probably when you'll see it. Hopefully we can get Orion on perhaps sometime here in the coming weeks, and not today, that I'm aware of, and get a few answers to some of those questions. But at this time, you know, something might be penciled in somewhere, but we're not really ready to announce anything yet. Depends on the work. At this time, we don't have plans to make new introductory areas for every race. That would be a cool project. I bet there would be a lot of people who would enjoy doing something like that. It would be a very big project, I think, as well. So, I mean, AJ Bun, my understanding is that it just went out on a wrong state, but that the numbers listed are correct. So, to some extent, you craft it, you know, if you want to craft based on the current system, you can. I mean, we're not going to stop you. But the other thing, but the cost will be reduced, and you know, we've announced that. So, I'm sorry if you spent crafting materials for things that cost too much, but they were correct based on what you crafted, is my understanding anyway. So. Alright. Here we are.
I was just telling the Lady Banulos that all clouds will surely pass, even in times of grief.
Will be a new dawning, and the sun will shine in the morn, such as you could never expect in the night time when it seemed darkest.
The Queen and her healer, Eoris, mean well, but they can provide no healing for me.
So her husband died in the war, and she is quite sad about it. Queen Arwen is here to help.
Have the meaning you give to that fine loss.
So, in order to help, we need to go get some materials from which Queen Arwen can do her thing. Oh, why, thank you about my sweater vest. I wondered how long it would take for somebody to comment on it. So I'm wearing this deliberately. And the reason I'm wearing this deliberately is that... oh, my seat's in a weird place. Okay. Oh, actually, I need to be dismounted, don't I? Yeah. Today is technically my 13th work anniversary. So I am celebrating by wearing the most comfortable piece of clothing I own. There might be people in my life who will look around if they ever see this video. If someone, you know, IRL ever sees this video, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, this sweater vest thing." Yeah, yeah. Exactly. It's super comfortable. I purchased it myself with my own money. And it was either a JCPenney or a Maurice's in a mall in like 1991. Yeah, I want to go this way. And it's the most comfortable piece of clothing I own. It's really comfortable. It's super soft. It's great. This thing's awesome. Cats love it. I am happy to be here. I'm thrilled. For some people, both in the office and in the United States in wider sense, have today off of work. And that's because it's Veterans Day. Well, Veterans Day is technically tomorrow, but for those who are on like a federal holiday pay system, they will have today generally off of work. So a whole bunch of people have today off of work. Sadly, honestly, not that much of the Lotro team, because we do have said patch that we're working on for next week. But there are a few. And if that's you, I hope you've got a happy day off. I am choosing really to stream on my technical. It could almost be a day off. Because it's my work anniversary, and because we just got Corsairs of Umbar released, and we got the new Song of Waves and Wind to play, and I wanted to be here and celebrate it all with you. So, but I know a bunch of people have today off work, so if that's you, yay! Hope you have a great one. Wait a second. See, I'm getting better. I'm starting to be better about recognizing this. Wait a second, you went too far. I love these doors. How cool would it be to have a door like that? Sarwin takes the bowl, says what she just said, and then asks Lady Vanyalos to sip from it.
Oh, is this elf magic, my queen?
Yo, gee, that worked. Alright. Yeah, I mean, we hate it when people waste materials and that too. I mean, you know, I feel for you. I'm not trying to be rude about it or anything like that. But, my computer, I am getting a high CPU usage detected, which is concerning me. And I think this is part of the reason. Let me see about freeing up a little more space on my computer here. Why would that be? Skype can get yeeted. That can get yeeted. So if the video, especially in the last couple of minutes, has been like skipping a bit, that's probably a computer issue on my end. I'm like Gandalf. I have no recognition of this place. There's a staircase. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a staircase. That I know. Here we are. Yep, so the update 36 Gondor Renewed soundtrack is the most recent one that I got out. I do have 37 and 38 to do. I'm expecting to get that done by roughly the end of the year. I want to get update 38 out around the holidays is roughly my internal plan. And that seems like a pretty reasonable one.
Arwen was able to provide some comfort to Lady Vonulos. I am pleased to hear it.
Rare talent. She left me of choice. Well, you couldn't have gone much good. Okay.
Lady Vonulos is not the only resident of Los Anach who grieves the loss of Thorlon.
Alright, we're heading to Arnok. So, yeah, we're heading down here. You can see it on the cursor there. And I believe I should be able to stable master myself there. Stable master is off to the right down this way.
Friend.
Oh, also welcome. Thank you, Sam. Cultural lesson today. It's the day of Martin's Eve in Sweden as well today. That's awesome. People celebrate it by eating geese, I guess. Which, as a vegetarian, you know, I have mixed feelings on. But welcome. I'm glad you do. It's alright. At the moment, you can listen to the soundtrack by playing it inside of the game. Eventually, it'll be on YouTube. You can listen to the Update 36 soundtrack on YouTube and all prior. Up next will be 37 and then 38. They're like, what? King's here.
That is the king? What's he doing here in Arnok?
Is that the king? What is he doing here?
Let me adjust my audio a little. I like the music, but I need to turn up the voiceover volume, among other things. And I believe I need to turn that up a little too. I think that'll be a better mix. Alright.
What do the folk of Arnok need us to do?
We're like, okay, so the king just shows up all of a sudden, in our place where we're not used to them. It's like, uh-oh. Are we all going to jail? I mean, it's kind of like top cop. But no, instead we are picking berries and helping with some things that need done. We're here to offer our aid and assistance to the peoples. Oh my gosh. How they prepare the soup in Sweden of goose is not really what I, you know, hey, good for you, I guess. But, yeah. Not that U.S. has anything to talk about, too. It's not like we don't eat all sorts of weird stuff. But, Svart Sapa does not sound like something I am likely to ever be interested in consuming. Oh, also in Germany it's celebrated. Well, that's awesome. I know we have plenty of people in Germany who are playing our game today. And children walk with lanterns and get a brezel afterwards. A brezel. I was in Germany for the first and only time a little over a year ago now. I guess what, 14, 15 months or so ago now. And I enjoyed it very much. I don't remember seeing anything called brezel, so I'm not sure what that is. I would think maybe something like pretzel, but I don't know. Yeah, you know, I'm not criticizing anyone for choosing to eat geese or anything. That's fine, you know. But that soup, the description of how that soup was made and what it contained is such that I'm not sure I'd feel comfortable saying it out loud. So, like, really? Okay, it includes that part too? Okay. You know, that kind of thing. Not berries, I could tell you that much. Has there been any interesting news in the first 30 minutes of chat? No. I don't think so. It was really just a recap of a little bit of work that's been done this week and the fact that we have a patch set for next Wednesday. Otherwise, we're celebrating the release of Corsairs of Umbar and enjoying the new Song of Waves and Wind story content. We'll have more information about, say, any sort of release timing for the instances, the missions, Yuletide Festival, and more. Although Yuletide is coming real soon. So we'll have that in the coming weeks, but we're not really in a position to do that today. The reason, say, some of the instances are being released after release is that the people who are working on them are going to be working on them now that Corsairs of Umbar is out. And as such, we don't have an exact week sort of time frame for you at this point. We have some internal dates and planning that we're working against. But I think it's going to be just a little bit yet before I can give you a solid release cadence plan for all the various pieces that are coming out post-release. I can tell you the things that were impacted this week related to bugs, that being the loot boxes, crafting, and one quest. We'll be back presumably next Wednesday with the patch. Okay. So, we have prepared a deer and some berries, and we are now speaking with Queen Arwen.
For my brother Ero here. Will you return it to him?
We are going back to Arnok. I don't have the answer to your question, Haderb, about what the intended loot state is for current instances that scale to 150, offering non-scaled loot. That may be something that Orion could address in the future, but I would need to talk to him first before I was able to communicate it to you. So, I'll know more. As soon as I know more, I will let you know. There we are.
Ah, I see my sister has finished with the bow and quiver I lent to her.
Thanks to our efforts, the folk of Arnach will be well provided for in the weeks to come.
Speak with Baranor and learn if there is anything else we can do before we leave. No, not next month. Patch to fix the bugs. Next week. We have update 38.0.1 penciled in for roughly Wednesday. There's work being done today to check in all the various bugs and get them checked out and things like that. And that's approximately the time frame it'll take to get it out live. So, yeah, roughly next Wednesday we'll have a bug fix patch for Corsairs. And then there'll be a 0.1 update, I think roughly sometime in December. Safe enough bet to say sometime in December. Probably earlier part of December, but we'll see.
Of course we do.
We appreciate all the work you have done. It's just that, well, the folk of Arnok are a little uncomfortable with their king doing such labor. And it's not unwelcome, they're just not used to such things. They have taken hard to the death of Forlong. If you encountered him, basically he was a great person. This king and elf queen, they seem well-intentioned, but it will take time for the people to warm to them. The king wishes to know of news from Upper Lebanon. I've been in contact with Captain Imlidir of Tumladen, and he says now that the war is over, the refuge is emptying, but slowly. Other than that, he has heard little. So I have to admit, I understand that now that Corsairs of Umbar is old news now that it's, what, 2 days old. But I have been busy working on the release of Corsairs of Umbar. So some of the questions that I'm getting about longer-term plans, I really can't address that today. We were busy this week releasing Corsairs of Umbar, and now that that's out, we're going to have time to sort of make more solid some of our longer term plans, in addition to get a more solid release cadence for our patches and what they'll contain and things like that here in the coming days. So I'll have more that I'll be able to say in future weeks about, say, when an updated crafting work will be done, when the Forester, Comb Forester event will be able to debut, and things like that. But today, unfortunately, is not that day. So we're going to Pelargir. I ask that you journey first to Tum Laden, speak with Captain Imladir. If he has need of you, see what you can do. Alright, so that's where we're headed. So, we need to go to the Stable Master, which is just right up here. See if I have been to Tum Laden yet.
What can I do for you?
Yes. Okay. Is there an internal date for the Figment Sparter switchover from Filbert Fig to Rowan Raspberry? I believe so. The last word I heard, I'm checking it right now. Is that the approximate dating is correct. So roughly around 11:15, which is what, next Wednesday, right? Yeah. So yeah. Let me double check that. Probably on Monday, I think it'll have to be. And if so, remove the approximate dating on that. But I believe that that is what I will ultimately be doing, is that Rowan Raspberry will arrive on the 15th with the patch, essentially. Good question. It does say approximate dating, but I think it's not approximate. I think it is actual. Good question, Green Tea. I can get to that in just a second. You know what? I actually need to go AFK really quick. I will be back in just a minute. I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, sorry about that. Back. Let me get to a couple of questions. So, how do we decide what goes on sale for Black Friday? It's big data is the short answer, and it's done by our e-commerce team based on, you know, generally hard data about who enjoys purchasing what and what does really well when it goes on sale, and what their targets are for the you know, for the sale period and things like that. So there's a huge lot of work that goes frankly into what it is, but really it's about trying to offer a mix of really useful discounts, really attractive discounts, perhaps fresh discounts when we can, a whole bunch of different things like that. So there's a lot of kind of science that goes into that kind of work, but at its core it's about trying to offer stuff that you want, that'll motivate you to support us during these sales periods when you've got a couple of people. There's a couple of sales that happen generally towards the end of the month. Oh, okay.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, and I trust you speak with the king's own authority.
The captain with whom we spoke earlier did not, and he spent many words telling us so, wasting his time and our own. My fellows and I were sent here by Hamisar, ruler of the Tamamir folk who dwell in Farouk Zahar, stronghold of the White Mountains. Long have we worked alongside the people of Gondor, helping to repair and rebuild their cities, but the recent devastation is worse than any in our memory and requires a good deal more effort and resources. We want to send more crafters and dedicate more blocks of stone to the work. We've come to survey the needs of this refuge. Can you assure us the King of Gondor will give us appropriate payment for any work we need to do? We tell Asitam that King Elisar is known for his fair dealings, and he greatly desires that Gondor be restored. The dwarf smiles broadly. Then he will not regret hiring us. Yo, we good. Survey debris. Okay. Because are a long-term community here in the Lord of the Rings Online, people have got, in some ways, our sales down to a pretty good science. There's like, I've seen, say, some wiki lists of everything that's been on sale, and you'll see kind of patterns of behavior. You know, occasionally we break expectation, sometimes deliberately, sometimes not, or whatever, but so it's not 100%, but I think in general you can get a pretty good sense of the kind of stuff that we put on sale for Black Friday by looking at historic patterns of what we've put on sale for Black Friday. And that information is out there. I'm glancing through chat. I don't have any information about a release timing for a producer letter. It's no time soon, I can tell you that much. There's a lot of work that needs to be done for planning. I mean, a bunch of work is already underway. There's already a bunch of things scheduled into spreadsheets for months, and what have you. But, that's very different from having a prepared and localized and cleared producer letter. in multiple languages, so I wouldn't expect to see that anytime soon.
I hope the King of Gandhar appreciates your work on his behalf, but most of his folk may not.
That's it. I would also expect that by the time the producer's letter is released, you probably already know some of it. Because folks like Sev and Orion and myself will be able to have a lot more information for you in the coming weeks. And next month or two, we'll have a whole bunch of info that we'll be able to say. But today, we've got a lot we're working on already. Back and then up. Oh, thank you, Mana Lair. I will let the art team know. We'll give them your positive feedback. Thank you. So, when will Black Friday sales be announced? Let me take a look at our calendar. So today is not December. Today is November. Let me bring that up. So today is November 10th. We've got next week, we've got our patch. And then we are also working, by the way, on a loot box cosmetic rotation for next week as well. If everything goes according to plan, we'll have some images and an article up. Probably maybe not localized yet in time for Wednesday, but close to it. And we'll have a little bit more information about that next week as well. But that's part of the patch. So a patch next week, and then Black Friday is the week following. That's Friday, November 24th. Or is it? Because generally Black Friday starts as soon as approximately Wednesday. Thursday is the Thanksgiving holiday in the United States, and most folks, up to and including us, do have the day off. And then Friday is usually a day off as well. So a lot of businesses really kick off their Black Friday sales on Wednesday. And while I can't confirm that that'll be the case this year, that would be my expectation, is probably something like Wednesday, Thursday. So, we'll have more information as we get closer to it. It'll be announced when it's ready. But I think based on historic precedent, it'll go live sometime probably roughly mid-late afternoon Wednesday, if not set to go live on Thursday at a scheduled time. So, soon is the answer to that. And then just a quick look, since I do have the calendar up looking ahead, we do also have Treebeard going to Helm's Deep and level 95. That is in early December. And that'll be Wednesday, December 6th. And then at this time, we have the Yuletide Festival scheduled to begin at 10 a.m. Eastern on December 7th. And I would expect that to happen as well. I had a question earlier about what would be in, what's new in Yuletide. I know we've got new rewards at the very least, and there's some work that'll be done to get screenshots and get that up and out in time for Yuletide as well. Anything wider in scope, though, I don't know. Not yet.
I am not surprised to hear your report.
So many of the humans are quite upset with the dwarves right now for wishing that they could have come to their aid, but they did not. And there was some roughness involved. You go now to see King Elisar in Pelargir. Tell him of the agreement you brokered with the Farouk Zahar, and also that the refuge of Tumlaudin stands strong. Its purpose fulfilled, and with good fortune, it will not need to be used again for many years. So, great. Alright, so now we are heading back. Actually, we're going down to Pelargir, which, yeah, down here. And I should have Linnaeus. At the very least, I could go to. I think May is correct, isn't it? I would need to double check my own FAQ because I haven't looked at it in some time, but I believe we said May, didn't we? For 2024, for when Corsairs of Umbar would be available for Lotro points? That sounds right to me. Where is... Oh. Really?
Greetings, friend.
All right. When we have meetings, do we use our real names or our Lotro names? We use our real names. Yeah. During professional work purposes, everyone's by their first name basis, things like that. Occasionally, when referencing what the work that we are doing, though, we will use our developer name. Like, all right, so yeah, I can't think of an example right off the top of my head now, but yes. Can I get there from here? I don't know if I can get there from here, but let's see. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of a good example. Maybe something like, you know, Matt'll be doing X, Y, and Z next week for a scenario stream or something like that. And so it'll come up that way. Maybe that's a good example. Uh-oh. It doesn't seem right. No! My way is blocked. Okay. What am I... Here we go. No! Okay. It's just what I get for going off the beaten path, isn't it? How am I supposed to get down to the dock, though? Fine. Yes, I agree. Pelargir needs, well... I mean, if you're a coastal city trying to prepare against your defenses against attack, I suppose, fine. But your GPS is going to be terrible.
It is good to see you back, my friend. How stands the refuge of Tumladen?
I tell King Elisar about the situation in Tumladen and the expedition of the Timamir dwarves that came there to survey the state of the buildings, as well as of the resentment felt toward them by some in Gondor. I understand, he says, even as I wish it were not so. Perhaps I should accept the invitation of Farouk Zahar, Stampion, in order to repair the relations between my kingdom and theirs. But first, there is work to attend to in Pelargir.
Ships that were once the pride of Gondor lie now at the bottom of the bay, or burned along the coast.
So the state of the Gondorian navy is not great. The Corsairs knew where to strike, and with precisely how much force, and the ships that were once the pride of Gondor now lie at the bottom of the bay, burned along the coast. It is true we seized some of their own vessels, without which we could not have arrived in Minas Tirith in time, but most of those were in poor shape, or are now. So we need to speak to Sirgon about this matter, but we were going to do that next week, because it's our time. So this is where we're going to pick up then, with Chapter 2.4 for next week's Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. Hope you're enjoying Corsairs of Umbar. We got a lot of content, a lot of new stuff, and a lot to check out, see, and do. Hope you're enjoying it. Things are going to get pretty exciting here with the Kindred of the Coins. We're going to eventually head into the Shield Isles and then Umbar itself. If you don't know much about Corsairs of Umbar yet, you can find out all the information you want about it over on Lotra.com. Tolkien Professor is up next. Druid's Fire is on after that. You can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'll see you all next week. Have fun.